Hi guys, this is Cobra Tom,
And Venom Lily.
and we are going to do a video today. And that video is G.I. Joe. Yo Joe. This week's Battle Force 2000 is DeeJay and the Pulverizer tank. I'm going to let you look at that. There we go. Maybe you'll be able to actually see that and read that better. There we go. Now, here we have the Battle Force 2000 Pulverizer. And I have to read this because I was not 100% sure. Which functions as a mobile tank with a large, long-range railgun. That's what this is. And let me look that. I got to look this up because once again, I wasn't exactly sure. A railgun on a tank is a futuristic electromagnetic cannon that uses powerful electronic currents, magnetic fields, not gunpowder, to launch projectiles at extreme velocities. So, that's what that is technically. I didn't know. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a gun expert. I'm not a machine tank military person. I like this stuff, but I am not familiar with all of this stuff. As you can see, I can put the figure in there and fit him in really nicely. He is really nice and deep in there. There's not any control in there that you can see. But he sits in there really nicely, and it kind of gives the illusion that he can do stuff. This has, even though it doesn't say it, it does have what all the other Battle Force 2000 had, were these things for the lock and unlock. They just don't say it. This has 2 foot pegs, and it has a universal tow hook on the back. I'll get to the gimmick in just a minute. You had to actually assemble this. I mean, when I got it, I didn't have to, but you had to assemble the arms. You had to assemble the green part here. You had to assemble the gimmick, and you had to put the gun on, and this like cooling hose or whatever this is. Since it's an electrical magnetic field that pushes the projectile, I'm guessing it has a lot of electrical energy, which makes it really hot. So it needs a pretty strong cooling system to cool it down, especially if it fires. Now I will put Blizzard here, and I'll put General Hawk. You could possibly maybe you really kind of can't, but you, oops, couldn't even get him on his foot peg. Alrighty. Now, this looks pretty good. You could kind of like pretend that you had a 4th guy in the back kind of controlling the gun. You know, I mean, so, I mean, it could be used to kind of look like you got about 4 or 5 figures to do this. You got 1 guy in the thing, driver, 2, maybe if you put another one on the side. It looked pretty good with, you know, figures and kind of running the equipment and stuff. So I don't think that's too far of a stretch. You know, see, there you go. We can even put the fridge there, and the fridge can kind of be like doing that. that looks a bit crowded in the front and kind of in the back. It looks a little unnecessary, but I don't know. It's up to you and your imagination. All right. Now, if you do not know what this toy is, or what the gimmick is, how to explain this to somebody who doesn't quite understand, and somebody who might not understand what we had these things called popples, and you'd pull them out. You still kind of see them in stores now. You kind of pull them out and they make a funny noise. You'll hear it in a minute. You can bend them and twist them and kind of move them around and stuff. So how they got the rights to do this is a totally different company. So how they got the rights to do this, I'm not sure. Maybe they just made it. Maybe there was a thing with G.I. Joe. I don't know. But, all right. This is not the worst gimmick in the world. It's not. But yeah. It's not the greatest. I'm going to try to go in a little closer, and I'm going to give you a little more light. Yeah, what you see there is a blue ring. That's a popple, and it accordions, so you can put it up and down. So I'm going to try to do this. All right. Okay, I hope you saw that. I hope that was on. And it makes it kind of... Not only does it raise it up about 2.5 inches or so, it doesn't really help, because I think it actually is hindered by this. Because if you just had the arms and you really wanted it raised up, I think you could probably undo this. I don't want to do that because I don't want to wreck my toy. But I'm going to, with a different one. I have a different one that I bought 2 of them. One I had put a bid on, and or put an offer in, and I didn't get a response. You have like 48 hours. I wanted one, so I spent like $15. And I just was like, okay, I'll just, whatever. He didn't respond, so I bought one. And then literally, and I do mean this is not a joke, this is not a thing, I literally got the notification that I had paid for one 5 minutes later. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Just as the time was almost up, and just as I was figuring, well, I'm not going to get it. So then I spent about I ended up spending like $20-some plus shipping. So it was like $30 in the end. Now I have 2 of them. And this one technically has the seatbelt. I hate the seatbelt little thing. I can't even... I mean, you can, but then... But I can never get my fingers aren't good enough to even do it when there's no figure. I can't even get the seatbelt to go down when there's no figure in there. I can't even get it to stay. I can't even get it to stay when there's no figure, and then you got a guy sitting, and you're supposed to strap it over there. I hate the seatbelt things. If you're playing with him, I have him tight in there, and I don't even need the stupid seatbelt. I never liked the seatbelt. I'm sorry. Sorry for the rant. Yeah. Okay, so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to slide this clip in there. And see, you can then take this off and push that down. And then if you had the gun, then if you really wanted that gun, you could find a way to put that on there. And then you could make it actually higher and actually use it for this like really high thing. But the popple thing really gets in the way. And I understand the gimmick and I understand the toy and I get that. But, and I do, you can't get this to stay kind of without that thing because it puts the head on there. But put a piece of tape on there and you've got this like really tall, massive weapon system. Where in the other one, you're only getting like 2 more inches. So I get what they were going for. It stabilizes it. It prevents it from falling down. I get it. Okay, I do. It just seems like the gimmick is kind of wasted on me. Maybe it's just me. Here's the problem I otherwise have with this. All the other vehicles have this blue and green and silver thing, but with this, it just seems so obvious that there's like a secondary thing to it. With some of the other ones, like the little robot thing from this Minesweeper, or the Sky Sweeper, you didn't really know that that was going to turn into a little robot. You didn't know in the Dominator that the shell turns into a fortress or a wall, a fighting thing. You didn't necessarily know in the Eliminator Jeep that the top part was going to come off and then there was going to be a missile rack. Did anybody think that this didn't have a weird gimmick to it with the funny arms and the green part that doesn't stay, even without the thing? I can't get this to stay down. There's always a gap. Is there anything that says that this doesn't have a weird gimmick? I'm just sorry. I don't understand this. I was going to see if I can take that off. I will maybe take a minute and take that off. But I like the color scheme. It fits. I like that they kept the continuity, even though this is a 1989 and not a 1988 vehicle. And it was clearly, I think, meant for something else. But then they just kind of threw it in there for some reason. But this one just never seemed to really click with me. I almost didn't get it, but, I don't know. I got it because I got the DeeJay figure, and I got the DeeJay figure a long time ago. I'm going to maybe put that in the comment section below if I remember. I probably won't. But, yeah, I never liked the gimmick of this one. If you'd have gotten rid of the gimmick and then just had it be like a thing that has a gun on it that can shoot super high, okay, I probably would have liked that better. If you would have had the gun be able to, I don't know, just do this, or maybe if you had this arm system, I don't know, that does something more than go up 2 inches. I might have liked this more. But since I have it off, I'm going to take it off and show you the gun closer. Before I take it off, I'm going to show you something that might be very difficult to see. But inside there, the gun has ridges right here and right here, so that it was supposed to, you might be able to see it better on the backside actually. So instead of giving us something that would actually ratchet and have a good ratcheting effect, we got this. Yeah. Now the gun itself is actually really nice, and I will show you. Here is like the weapon mechanical detail. Here's the cooling hose. Here's what I think. Now here is, I think, what like your breech plate, where you would put the projectile in, like on a howitzer. You have a breech plate, and the projectile, the shell, goes in there, and then it fires. Now that's my assumption. I don't know that for sure, but that's my assumption. And then you've got the mechanical part, and then here's where it shoots out. Looks good. I actually like the gun. I actually like the tank setup, and I actually kind of like the raising and lowering ability of it. I just don't like the popple thing. It is a cool gun, though, and I do wish that we had something that actually ratcheted instead of this. What I will give it credit for, though, is that they didn't skimp on the detail. You know, because you're going to put this box over it. And the box detail actually kind of matches this detail, which is actually kind of cool. It's kind of... I do like that part. You've got some nice detailing on the back. And the bottom has, well, it just has the Dumbo wheels. But it at least has like the track, and it has kind of the stuff here and everything. So I do actually like the vehicle. I don't want to make it sound like I hate it. I just hate the gimmick. And if it had a little better gimmick, or if it just was a gun emplacement, I think I would just like this so much better. And I don't like the seatbelt, but that's not the Pulverizer's thing. That's on many vehicles, and I don't like the seatbelt, and I never use it. Now, say you do that, you can get the gun back on very easily. It slides right under it. And it clicks right into place. So I don't think you have to worry about that. And so there you go. I will show you the one other thing that slightly annoys me about this vehicle. The tow hook that they have is universal, but instead of sticking out nicely, it's almost flush to the back end, which makes towing something kind of difficult to put in there. And you can, but you kind of have to like really put it in there and then kind of see. I didn't even get it this time, but it at least does, and you can at least tow a nice vehicle in it. I'm going to go over the vehicle here. It is a very nice figure. I'm going to go over the figure. I technically have two, and I want to show you, because most of the time when I'm doing other figures, I keep their accessories, especially if they have small accessories. I set them aside in a bag with their file card if I have the file card. And I set them aside because I don't want to lose them, especially when they have little things like hoses and microphones and headphones and things like that. This is how you find most DeeJays on the aftermarket. I won't say a rubber hose is particularly hard to get, but you also won't find him with his headphones receiver on. It's very difficult, and it is tiny, tiny, tiny. All right. This figure comes with two extraordinarily small pieces. I'm almost even afraid to even do this. you see on his helmet, and I'm sorry, I got distracted by the backpack. You see on the thing, he's got this hole in the back of his helmet and a hole in his shoulder. What you are supposed to do is plug that black hose into this extremely small piece. I don't know why it is so small. I don't know why he technically has it. I don't know why they would put this on. And it's supposed to go into the back of the helmet, which is fine. The setup is what I'm confused about, not what he's actually doing. This, this could be anything. This could be wires controlling his microphones and his backpack and doing all of that stuff. That's fine. But why is there such a tiny piece that connects to it? When you just had a regular hole and it sticks in just fine. Why didn't you have this? Then the second piece is his antenna for his radio. This thing is so small. I genuinely don't understand why this is so small. I'm trying to find something to compare this to. I've got the perfect thing to compare this to. I have the perfect thing to compare this to. This is a figure leg screw, a back screw, a screw that you put if you need to replace his leg, a screw if you have to take him apart. This is that screw. Okay, this size of this screw, it is in my hand, and this is smaller than that. I hope this is coming out on video because this is literally thinner, maybe a tiny bit taller, but this is thinner than this tiny screw, and it's smaller than the handle of a gun, than this gun. And yet you're expecting kids. That's why this figure goes from like a $10 figure, $5-10 figure. If you just find him on his own, if all you want is just a figure, he's probably a $5-10 figure. You want this, and he's probably a $25-30 figure. Maybe even more. I haven't even needed to buy one because I had one. So, yeah. I got one time, and I didn't even realize that I was missing anything because I could put the wire right into here, and I could put the wire right into the back. So I didn't think I was missing anything. Now, I am going to go over DeeJay's. DeeJay is the team's communications specialist, known for his knack of electronics and music. Though he lacked his own vehicle, he was often paired with the PULVERIZER. His gun being more about transmitting signals, often depicted as short burst laser pistol or rifle. A futuristic comms accessory headset ties with the electronic sounds of his role. So he puts all of this stuff in, and this is literally a sound speaker system. All of his equipment is based on sound, which makes his backpack like a huge speaker system. And his weapon is technically not even a gun. It sends noises. And they wonder why Battle Force 2000 didn't go very well. Terrible gimmicks, terrible weapons, and quite frankly, kind of dumb and ugly color schemes for a couple of them. Knockdowns, blue and brown just doesn't look very good. I can't even think of what his name is at the moment. He's got an orange Aquaman shirt on. I don't understand where they were going with this. And they really went all out and yet failed spectacularly on this figure. Red visor, a red thing on his helmet. Okay. Sensory thing for his headphones and all of that stuff. I get. Goggles. I get. Microphone. I get. Sort of this stuff when it's all on there and all hooked up in the backpack and all of that stuff. Communications guy with a communication sound system and weird sound system gun. Okay, forget the part. You can at least understand he's the sound system guy. What is this? What is this weird thing on the front? Why is his suit like this? Why does he have astronaut boots? And not even like cool looking astronaut boots. Like really ugly, white, nasty boots with a Star Trek phaser. Like from the 60s. A Star Trek phaser from the 60s. Now, don't get me wrong. The guys who were making this stuff would have remembered the 60s because they would have been growing up then. Okay? Guy in 1989 is going to remember Star Trek when he's like 25, 30 and he's making figures. And he's 35 and he's doing stuff. He's going to remember Star Trek. Okay, so I'm not saying even that. But he's not even the space guy. He's the communications guy. Why does he have space boots? Why does he have like this like thing on here that you would like equate with like, you know, bouncing around on the moon for an astronaut? What? If you were going to make him the space guy and you were going to make him like, if you told me, Tom, look at my new astronaut. His name is DeeJay. He is going to go into the space shuttle. I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. Look, I even made a goofy joke and gave him a Star Trek phaser. I'd have laughed and thought that was funny. I would have thought like, yeah, okay, that's pretty good for a Star Trek kind of, not rip off, but homage or whatever, you know. I would get it. He's got this white top and he's got like this white stuff and then he's the communications guy. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I mean, call me whatever. Maybe I'm missing the big picture, but I really don't get the design of this guy. If you would have said he was on the space shuttle, I'd have been like, yeah, that's where that guy belongs. Let me show you what I mean. Here's my astronaut. Helmet. Take off the helmet, okay? Even the colors are kind of similar. Green, white, blue. Yes, this is like 87, and I think this is Knockdown. 87, and this is 89. But look, if you would have told me, Tom, this guy is an astronaut and goes with Countdown, I'd have been like, yep. I totally even get where you're going. You've got the ribbing. You've got ribbing here. You've got a bluish color scheme. You've got the green. You've got the white padding. You've got the white, like, all around aesthetic. Okay, yes, he technically has like silver boots. But if you would have told me, Tom, that guy goes in your space shuttle, and he goes in your space shuttle, you open this up, and you put him like this, and you put him next to him. I would have said, holy cow, that looks amazing. That looks amazing. I could even see why the Maverick figure is kind of considered a little too spacey for a jet fighter. If you put him in here, look at this. This is technically how we played with our Battle Force 2000. They were space people. They weren't on the ground experimental warriors. They were out in space. And if this is where you told me they went, I would have believed you. The space helmet, while I love the Maverick helmet, and while I don't hate the DeeJay figure, I just think they shoehorned him into something he probably didn't belong in. And I'm afraid that hurts him more than helps him. Because I think part of, if you were to launch this 80, have this big shuttle, I have lots to do to fix this. But if you'd told me this shuttle, and you'd have told me in 89, when you got this guy and this guy, or 87, this guy and this guy, shuttle, maybe this guy's captain and he's lieutenant and he pilots the shuttle, fine, whatever. Flip the whatever you want to call that. And then in 89, you told me you were making DeeJay. And you told me he was going to be a space shuttle with these two. I'd have been like, yeah, that's great. But no, they made him the communications guy, gave him tiny, weird accessories, gave him tiny, or not tiny, but gave him a gun that shoots electrical noise, and a backpack that shoots radio signals at people. I don't know. I like the DeeJay figure. I like his color scheme. It seems a little off. I mean, don't get me wrong. It fits with the green and the silver and the white of other figures, and I'm not saying that. But it just doesn't quite fit for me in Battle Force 2000. Please like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell to get notifications so you never miss one of our awesome videos. Well, thank you for watching, and we will see you
next time.
Bye.
Bye.